Hello, hello, and happy Thursday, community. Welcome everyone that is able to make it to today's community event on YouTube. Very excited as always to have these sessions with you, community. Looking forward to another very informative session. Um, as the title showed it already, the topic of today is what is tokenomics and why is tokenomics so important? In this crypto space, we are very early on and we have the great opportunity to really use this cutting edge technology to improve the way traditional finance is done or is handled right now. And before we get into that, of course, that's today's topic, and we're going to discuss various topics today. We're going to look deep into what are tokenomics, what are the different versions of tokenomics. We're going to look at 4 different ecosystems tokenomics. As always, first to look at and identify the challenges we are experiencing in the space, and then we'll look at the importance. Why is it important? What constitutes tokenomics and what makes it important? Why is it important and fundamental? And then, of course, as always, we'll zoom back in, look at our ecosystem, break down what we do differently, what added value are we bringing into the space, and then of course we'll come back to you, community, and then check with you whether you have any follow-up questions, and then we'll wrap it up from there. So as always, I like to come and check with you on the comments to check who's here, who's attending, and then just acknowledge you, welcome you. And after that is done, we'll get right into today's topic, and we'll kickstart it. There's a lot to cover today, so we'll just briefly go through your comments and then start right with today's topics. So let's get to your topics. As always, my great brother Demo. Good day, Steve. I'm ready for another amazing session. Tokenomics can determine the longevity of a project. Absolutely. This is very true, and this is what we're going to discuss in detail today. Tokenomics are key, very important. We're going to look at various different tokenomics and ecosystem, and we always have to keep in mind that based on the tokenomics, you can determine what the game plan and end game is of that specific project or token. It's very important, and this is what we're going to look at today. So greetings to you also, my great brother Demo. Nice having you here as well. Crypto Chick, hello back to you as well. My great brother Theo, Bullrun to the world. Nice having you here as well, my great brother Theo. I see Queen Martha is here as well. Good evening, Bullrun family. Good evening back to you as well. My great brother Franklin. Good evening, BRL family. Good evening right back to you as well. Nice having you here with us. Mom, greetings community. Glad to be here. Thanks, Steve, for another informative live stream. Always a pleasure having you here. You're my inspiration. I'm glad that you're here as well with us. Queen Golibar, always a pleasure having you here. Hello family. Hello back to you as well. And Queen Nancy, good evening, Steve. Happy Thursday, community. Blessed to be here, ready for the interesting topics for the evening. Absolutely. So are we, so am I. And let's get started with today's topic. Thank you very much, everyone that is able to make it today. It's such a pleasure having you all here. And as always, we're always thrilled to be participating in this community events. Like we say, this gives us the opportunity to highlight the blockchain technology, talk about the industry, highlight the strengths, the challenges, and then zoom in and build bridges and talk about how our ecosystem handles and tackles all of that. These sessions are very important, as they give us the opportunity to really reach as many people as possible that will get the opportunity to learn more about the crypto space and learn more about our ecosystem as well. And as you know, we always lay emphasis on education. We're always here to inform, to educate, and inspire. This is what this is all about. So as more people are coming, hello Bullrunners, happy Thursday. Hello Steve, ready for the power session. Absolutely nice having you here too, Queen Bar. Good afternoon, everyone, says my great brother Glenn. Good afternoon to you too, my brother. I see here Cryptorizer. How are you, Cryptorizer? Good evening, everyone. Another brilliant live stream today. Thank you, Steve. Thank you too for all you do. I see Queen Bisha is here as well. I am blessed to be part of this family. So are we, having you here with us. And Queen Chantel says hello, family. Hello back to you as well. And absolutely, let's all engage with the notification bells and the buttons, because this will reach as many people as possible. And this is what we want to achieve today. And with that said, once more, hello family. See Queen Chantel also is here. Nice having you here as well. So with that said, thank you very much for showing up, everyone. Welcome, everyone. You're all very much appreciated and acknowledged. I see Queen Cozy is here as well. Greetings, family. Hoping everyone is well. Looking forward to an interesting session. Thank you, Brother Steve. Thank you, Queen Cozy. And with that said, community, I feel the enthusiasm. I feel the hunger, the thirst for knowledge. I won't let you wait any longer. Let me share my screen with you. And let's get this session started today, as we have a lot to cover. And we always like to start it with, first of all, again, what's today's topic? What is tokenomics and why is it important? Usually, when you're new into the crypto space, many people, there's so many tokens out here, there's so many ecosystems out here, and tokenomics play a major role. You have to look at them. And what is tokenomics specifically? Like the name suggests, it is the study of the token economy. So just like our current fiat system, the monetary system, it has its own economy, right? And it serves to be inflationary. The value, the fiat currency itself is devaluing. Purchasing power is being less and less with every year. And this is the current fiat system that we have. So it's inflationary, it's being debased, meaning that the purchasing power keeps decreasing. And all that is a horrible thing. But the good thing is that with this new cutting edge technology, especially with the crypto space, the way it usually works is when fiat inflates, usually assets go up. It's the inflationary hedge. And this is what, for example, and we'll start with Bitcoin, it's supposed to be the inflationary hedge, meaning that any assets that are scarce, that has certain fundamentals using certain tokenomics, those are the ones you want to look for, that are the opposite of our current fiat system, which is inflationary. It decreases, the purchasing power decreases in value. The only way to really kickstart the economy is by keep printing more and more of the fiat currency. And this is not just, this is globally. Every country obviously has their own fiat system, fiat currency, and many before the current global reserve currency, which is the US dollar, have failed miserably. And this system is a flaw. It's not sustainable. And only those who have solid assets that appreciate in the long term are the ones that will really make it. Because if you hold, the more you hold the fiat system, the fiat currency, it's the worse it gets for you, because it loses value over time. So the key word here is, with tokenomics, you need to look at certain key aspects. And we're going to look at 4 different tokenomics today as we are zooming out, and we'll identify their strengths and their challenges, so that once we zoom in and look at our ecosystem and our tokenomics, we'll be able to identify the added value that we bring into this crypto space. Because besides having strong tokenomics, these also gives you the opportunity to judge an ecosystem, whether it's built for the long term, like my brother Demo was suggesting earlier, whether it's built for the long term, whether it's sustainable, and whether it is built for the devs, the team, the initial investors, or whether it's built for the best betterment of the whole community. So these are things that you can look at, and tokenomics can tell you these items very, very easily. With that said, I just wanted to build the momentum and just prepare you for what's coming. And now we're going to look at 4 different tokenomics, and obviously we'll pick the largest cryptocurrencies in the space. Like I said, we're going to look at their strengths, and then we're going to look at the challenges that they have or they're experiencing. And then we'll zoom back in and look at our ecosystem and how we are addressing those challenges. So again, tokenomics are here, and we have the opportunity using this new technology to develop our own economy and to change the narrative of inflation, of debasement of currency, losing the purchasing power, just keep printing more of it. And we're going to see similarities on the blockchain as well, because certain items are just copy pasted and just brought on the blockchain. So without further, let's get into the topic. Let's start with the first one, and let's start with the largest one. What's the tokenomics here? I'm specifically using CoinGecko today because CoinGecko has a great session here called Tokenomics, and you can come here and look at certain things. Tokenomics are very important because it plays a major role. The way tokens are distributed, what's the distribution of the tokens? That's where it starts. And also whether it has certain mechanisms, how is the token governed, and so on and so forth. Let's start with the largest cryptocurrency. What is its tokenomics? Let's start with its strength. The strength of the tokenomic of Bitcoin is straightforward. First of all, Bitcoin is supposed to be the store of value. That's the end game of Bitcoin. It's supposed to be a hedge against fiat currencies, such as the US dollar, that keeps deflation, it's so inflationary and keeps losing its purchasing power. So assets such as Bitcoin serve as a store of value and are supposed to hedge against inflation. So you're better off holding a Bitcoin in the long term than holding the fiat currency of your specific geographic region in the long term. So why is that the case? Because first of all, contrary to the current fiat system, max supply of Bitcoin is 21 million. It has a cap. There's a limited supply of it. So this means that you can't print more of it, contrary to the current fiat system. So that is one of the benefits, of course. But we are looking strictly at tokenomics here. Of course, it goes beyond that. Bitcoin serves as, it has no middleman. There is no centralized entity in between. We can use Bitcoin to send back and forth, peer-to-peer, meaning from me to you directly, without having the need to use a bank or any other central entities. Nobody can take Bitcoin from you. It's your wallet. As long as you have it in your wallet and it's your keys, nobody can take it from you. So these are the benefits of it. But if we strictly look at tokenomics, it has a limited supply of 21 million. And yes, the founder gave himself a roughly 5% of the supply, but that's normal. And but the main point here is that its tokenomics is very straightforward. Yes, it's inflationary, but the inflation is low. And the good thing about it is every 4 years, the inflation gets cut in half. So this is what we call Bitcoin halving. This is what's about to happen in 2-3 months. And so it has a healthy inflation. It's not too much. And that inflation gets cut in half every 4 years. And it has a limited supply of 21 million. Those are solid tokenomics. And it is obviously, it experiences the network effect, meaning that it's the most recognized cryptocurrencies. As we know, 2 weeks ago, there's ETFs now made from it. And those are the strengths of Bitcoin. And this is what goes for it. But now let's look at the challenges. The only challenge I see here is it has a high volume. Right now, let's say close to 19 billion. And it doesn't really use the volume effectively. Its tokenomics doesn't use its volume effectively. This is not just a Bitcoin issue. This is an issue that 3 of these 4 tokenomics we're about to look at, different ones, are suffering from. So it's also suffering from inefficient use of its volume. Another major issue of Bitcoin, of course, it's the lack of liquidity. It has a very low liquidity to market cap ratio, as we know, and that's a challenge. So its tokenomics is not built to retain illiquidity. It's not built to be really efficient to ensure that it's also working on retaining liquidity. Yes, it has a limited supply of 21 million. Yes, it's inflationary. However, the inflation is being cut in half every 4 years. And eventually in the year 2024, as we see here, tokenomics, in the year 2042, 21 million Bitcoin will have been minted and there will be zero inflation. So it is, at least it has a cap compared to our current monetary system, fiat currency. It is a much better option. It has a limited supply. Its inflation is extremely low. It's globally recognized right now. There's ETFs made out of it. So those are the strengths. The weakness is, of course, like we discussed, its liquidity to market cap ratio. It's horrible and it's lacking liquidity. And this is also the reason why these ETFs are actually making the situation worse, because they're actually intercepting the liquidity that would otherwise directly come into Bitcoin directly on the open market. But because there's a lack of liquidity, all these large institutions, they are forced to build their own liquidity over the counter. So they're trading over the counter amongst themselves, trading Bitcoin. This doesn't affect the Bitcoin price directly because there's not enough liquidity. And these individuals are trading hundreds of millions, if not billion, actually billions of Bitcoin a day. So as we see, there's only 831 million here. So if you would be trading 2-3 million a day, it would drastically affect the price. It would be so extremely volatile. So if Bitcoin had strong tokenomics that retain liquidity, this issue would not be present. And at the end of this, we'll do some calculations and get even deeper into this. However, the challenge of Bitcoin is it's not using its volume effectively and its lack of liquidity. Those are the two challenges, but it's not just limited to Bitcoin. The liquidity challenge is an industry-wide issue. So keep that in mind. Effective use of volume and the lack of liquidity is an industry-wide issue, at least for 3 of these 4 tokens that we're about to look at. Now, after this, let's keep in mind these challenges are inefficient use of volume and lack of liquidity. These are the challenges for Bitcoin. Let's move on to Ethereum, the second largest. Let's look at the strength of Ethereum first of all. The strength of Ethereum is that as far as tokenomics are concerned, is that it's using its volume effectively, because even though it has an unlimited supply, we just looked at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a cap at 21 million. Ethereum has an unlimited supply. However, it has a banning mechanism built within itself, and it's based on how much usage is on the platform. So if we refresh this, it's based on the usage. The more you use Ethereum, the more deflationary it becomes. So the platform is based on the usage. So as we see here, if we go down to tokenomics, let's look at the tokenomics here. Like I say, tokenomics is also been based on token distributions. So Ethereum used 83% for pre-sale. It was a crowd sale, and everybody was able to participate in this. So unlike Bitcoin, where it's proof of work, where miners have to use strong, powerful computers to mine Bitcoin, here you are able to just purchase outright, participate in crowd sale, and just purchase Ethereum on the open market publicly. And they allocated 83% of the tokens, and they started with 60 million tokens. It was 60 million tokens that they put for sale. And right now we see that it's currently at the total supply, currently circulating supply is right now at 120 million. So it doubled. So far it doubled within close 9 years, a little bit over 9 years. So that's the situation we're facing right now. Ethereum needs to be used effectively. And also the major difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin is Bitcoin is looked at as a store of value. It's not a currency. It's something you buy and hold. Ethereum has a layer of applications. It's an application layer, meaning that the reason why Ethereum was developed was so that you can build applications on top of the blockchain. Keep in mind, for those who are not aware, of course, Bitcoin is a blockchain on its own. However, it was not fast enough. It's really relatively slow, and it's even more expensive than Ethereum to transact on it. So Ethereum benefit is it's a layer of applications you can build on top of it, just like we have 3 different tokens built on top of blockchain, Ethereum. And also it serves more as a currency, and you have to use Ethereum to transact with these different platforms, with these different applications on top of the Ethereum. Even just with us, you go to Uniswap and you need Ethereum to swap back and forth if you want one of our ecosystem tokens. So it's more used as a currency. This is why it has to be infinite. It can't be limited. However, the more you use the platform, the more deflationary it gets. That's the difference. Okay. Now, you see here, because the platform hasn't been used as much, it turned around and it's inflationary now. You see how the chart is going up above this line, above this horizontal line. If it goes above, it means it's inflationary. So Ethereum is inflationary right now because the platform is not being used as much. This is why the gas fees right now are also much lower than usual. So you see it issues 866,000 tokens a year, but it only burns 729. So currently, because lack of high usage of the platform, it is inflationary. And because it has an unlimited supply, this can be very dangerous for Ethereum, because this can cause it to be extremely inflationary, especially getting into our third token that we're about to look at. But just to summarize, the strengths of Ethereum is it's faster and cheaper than Bitcoin. You can build multiple applications on top of it. And its purpose is to serve as a currency. That's why it has an unlimited supply, unlike Bitcoin's 21 million cap. And also, you can stake it as well. You can stake Ethereum and earn more of it. Now, if we look at the challenges, you have to use Ethereum thoroughly. It needs volume. It needs to be used. If it's not used, like we just saw, it becomes inflationary. But if you use it, it becomes deflationary. So currently it's inflationary. It's issuing more tokens than it's burning because the usage on Ethereum is low right now. And there is a reason to that. So those are the challenges currently of Ethereum. It has an unlimited supply and it's inflationary currently because it's not being used as much. Those are the challenges right now. And this is also part of the issue. Its volume serves as two edges. So it has 10 billion in volume. However, it's still inflationary. So it's also lacking the efficient use of volume, just like we looked at Bitcoin earlier. Now, the cause, we're going to the third token now. And this is the real reason why Ethereum has been not being used as much. What is Solana? Solana is basically a cheaper and much faster version of Ethereum. However, if we look at its tokenomics, unlike Ethereum had 83% allocated to the public. However, Solana is the opposite. Look at its allocation. Founding sale, 20%. Seed sale, 25%. Foundation, 20%. Team, 20%. These four alone run to roughly 86%. Validator sale, they're running their own validators, among others also. So that's another 97%, 94%. And then the 3% strategic sale, that's 97%. So you see how the token allocations are centered towards either the foundation, the team, the developers, the validators, and the early investors. So this is a very centralized tokenomics. And this can be very dangerous because the majority of the supply has already been accumulated through pre-salers, early investors, the founders, the team have the majority of the supply. And because you can stake Solana, you get even more Solana. So, and because there's an infinite supply of Solana, obviously those who staked early, who got in earlier and are staking, they're still receiving the majority of the token, meaning that the majority of the supply are in the hands of the team, the validators, the early investors, and the developers. So this can be a very dangerous way to allocate your tokens because it's very centralized and is more focused and for the benefit, not of the community, but of the early investors and the developers and the validators. This is the third tokenomics we looked at. The strength is it is faster and cheaper than Ethereum, and it's a real contender for Ethereum. The only thing that really is also a challenge is Solana has been crashing, has to be shut down a couple of times. However, within a year now, it hasn't been shut down. So it's been going steady right now. But the main focus, the main benefit compared to Ethereum, it's cheaper and it's faster. That's it. But Solana doesn't have deflationary mechanism. So Solana is extremely inflationary. As you see, it has an unlimited supply and majority of the tokens go towards validators, team, developers, and the early investors. So it's geared towards the tokenomics are profitable for the early investors, the developers, the investors, and the validators, and not the community as a whole. This is why Solana is heavily known for, and it's called the venture capitalists token. So it's for those early investors basically own Solana. So this is the third tokenomics we looked at. We will summarize all 4 of them at the end. And the final one that we want to look at is curve. Curve's strength is it is a liquidity provider. Like you can stake and you can provide liquidity on the Curve platform. So this is what it does. That's the purpose of it. That's the strength that it has. It's a staking platform, and you can provide liquidity and stake your liquidity tokens and earn even more Curve. That's what it does. That's what it's here for. It has a max supply as well, which is more than 3.3 billion. However, if you look at the tokenomics, there is something very interesting. So first of all, the blue part is 62% is put aside for staking rewards. And if you look at this chart, this is the purple that you see here. So the staking rewards, as you see, they keep increasing. Every year, it's more and more of it. And if you look at the chart, you see the reason why. This token is extremely inflationary. It has a staking platform that doesn't have a sustainable or deflationary staking platform. It's extremely inflationary. So, and this is why you see the chart look like this. So even though it has a max supply of 3.3 billion, majority, which is 62% of the tokens, the way they're distributed, it goes towards inflation. It's inflating the token. Those who are staking Curve are getting even more Curve. And this is extremely inflationary, and it's not sustainable. And the remaining 40%, 30% of it goes towards the shareholders, the team, and early investors. So that shows you again, it's a token that is geared towards the early investors and the employees. So this is what you look at in tokenomics. You need to always pay attention. How is the token distributed, and how is it allocated? What is the schedule look like of inflation? Like we looked at Bitcoin, it's every 4 years, half of the inflation is being cut. Here, this is a vesting schedule. You see that as time goes by, more and more, the more inflationary it gets. Now, pay attention to this schedule. In May 2026, it will stop being inflationary. Right now, the only reason why people are staking or using this platform is because they're getting more Curve. And this is the incentive they give their stakers. So this will stop. So the question is, what will happen once there's no incentives anymore to stake or use this platform? So the strength, let's look at it again. The strength of this, it has a limited supply of 3.3 billion. This is great. It's a very well-known and one of the oldest staking platforms in the space. It is very trusted and it's highly used in this space. However, its staking platform has weak tokenomics. The fundamentals are extremely weak. It's not as strong, and it's very inflationary. The token distributions are more geared towards the shareholders and the team, and its token supply is very inflationary. And in 2026, so a little bit over 2 years from now, May 2026, in 2 years, the incentives for staking will be cut off. What will happen after that? Will the ecosystem still exist? Because there's no incentives anymore there for individuals to stake and participate in the platform. Now, let's summarize these 4 different tokenomics that we just looked at. Okay, let's go back and just summarize. We looked at Bitcoin. We looked at its strength. It has a limited supply of 21 million. And it serves as its strength is also, it serves as a store of value, meaning it's not as inflationary as the fiat system. So it serves as an hedge against inflation. And also its inflation It's inflationary, however, it's being cut in half every 4 years. And in the year 2042, it will stop being inflationary, and the supply is capped at 21 million. This is what makes it a valid store of value. These are the strengths. The weakness, the challenge, let me say, is it's extremely illiquid. It's not liquid enough. Its tokenomics are not developed to retain liquidity. And despite its high volume, it's not using the volume efficiently the way it could, because if it would use the volume efficiently and retain liquidity, it would be in a much, much healthier situation. And the dream of true decentralization, that the whole mythos, the whole purpose of Bitcoin was to be have no middlemen in between, no institutions in between. But with this ETFs approved now, Bitcoin is caught between its originality, the purpose it was developed to be in the first place, right after the 2008 financial crisis, and now it's being basically handled by large institutions. Exactly what it was. Its strength lies in. Its strength is that you can use it without middlemen, without any institutions. But because its weakness, which is lack of liquidity, ETFs are now intercepting the liquidity, and now they can basically control the cash flow, the liquidity in and out of Bitcoin, and that hence they can control the price of it and manipulate it if they wanted to, because they hold the majority of the real deal, and the buyers of Bitcoin are only getting a certificate, a share of the real deal. So because they are hoarding more and more of the real deal, they are building themselves deeper liquidity, and that's why there's more volume being traded on the ETF liquidity pool than in the real liquidity pool, like the one that we see here. And the challenge here is that that's why it has a very bad liquidity to market cap ratio. Its challenge is liquidity. So that's the challenge, and the inefficient use of its volume. So that's for Bitcoin. We looked at Ethereum. Ethereum has an unlimited supply. However, the more it's being used, it can be deflationary. We looked at that, and we saw here that currently, because it's not used efficiently, it's inflationary right now. It's issuing more tokens than it's burning. However, its purpose is to be used as a currency and not as a store of value, unlike Bitcoin. And the differences is that you can build applications on top of it. It has a lot of use cases. You can use it in multiple ways, and it has a better appeal. For example, it would have a better appeal for investors because they can actually earn yield. They can earn something staking Ethereum. So then we looked at Solana. Solana is just the faster and cheaper version of Ethereum. However, it's not as stable as Ethereum. It has been shut down a couple times, but within this 1 year, it has been solid. Also, Solana has unlimited supply. However, it is extremely inflationary. As you see, the tokenomics show that the majority of the tokens are towards the team, the foundation, the pre-sales, and the validators. So it's very centralized, and it has unlimited supply, and it's extremely inflationary. So it's the same. As far as tokenomics are concerned, it does exactly the same thing like the fiat currencies are doing right now. It's extremely inflationary. Okay, now we looked at Curve. Curve is a staking platform that is extremely inflationary as well, and we looked at its. We looked at how horrible it looked right now. Let's look at it again. If you zoom out, you see how inflation, an unstable and sustainable staking platform causes all of this, because it's just extremely inflationary. So these are the strengths and the weaknesses of these four, or the strength and the challenges of these four different ecosystems. And their tokenomics serve different purposes, like we just discussed, and they all serve a different purpose. So this is zooming out and looking at the challenges. So the challenges are lack of liquidity, inflation, unsustainable staking platform, and inefficient use of the volume. These are the 4 challenges we identified looking at these 4 different ecosystems. And these are the largest cryptocurrencies, or one of the most used application on the Ethereum platform, which is our curve. So we looked at the big picture now. And before we get into, before we zoom in, let's look at something else. The whole idea of tokenomics is to do better, to develop something that is more efficient, more effective, and that is solution-oriented, that is addressing the current monetary system that we are facing, which is fiat system. There is no point of having a cutting-edge technology such as the blockchain technology, and you are applying the same old issues and challenges that we are facing in the real world on the blockchain, which is lack of liquidity, inflation, inefficient use of the volume, and then offering an incentive with a staking platform that is extremely inflationary and not sustainable. So those are the challenges we are already facing in the real world. And we need to, if you want to stand out in this crypto space, it's very competitive. You need to come with solutions. You need to be able to solve issues and ask yourself, what issue or what challenges is your platform, is your ecosystem solving? And based on the tokenomics that you implement, that's how you will address those specific challenges. And we looked at these 4 different tokenomics and these different ecosystems, and we identified those 4 major challenges. Let's look at closely what is inflation, okay? So where is it? Okay, right here. 2 takeaways from inflation. As we all know, inflation is a currency losing its purchasing power over time. We're already experiencing this in the real world. So, and based on the 4 tokenomics we just looked at on the blockchain, we just saw the same situation. The only limit that there was Bitcoin. At least it's limited to 21%, and it has a low inflation rate. But other tokens are experiencing the same thing. In Ethereum as well, it is deflationary, but only if used a lot. But the other 2, which is Solana and Curve, they're definitely lost purchasing power over time. So they have the same issue like the fiat system right now. What's causing inflation? Because the supply of the currency injected into the economy is increasing. So these are the 2 takeaways. Loss of purchasing power, and you're adding more of your supply into the economy. And you need to use your tokenomics to avoid this, because there's no point of using this technology and implementing the same issues, the same problems, the same challenges that we are experiencing with the current fiat system. All right. Now, what we implemented right now is we used something called the flywheel effect. What is a flywheel effect? The best way to explain what a flywheel effect is, and this is when we're zooming in now. Now we're zooming into our ecosystem. We want to look at how we are tackling these challenges. How are we addressing these challenges? We implemented something called the flywheel effect. A flywheel effect is a process where you relentlessly picture this in your mind. You're pushing a giant, heavy wheel up the hill. And once you get on top of it, turn by turn, you can finally now push it down the hill, where it builds momentum until it just goes so fast and beyond, and nothing can stop it. That's what a flywheel effect is. So picture that. If you develop an ecosystem, you want to create that flywheel effect, meaning that the more volume that comes in, the more happens with it. And we'll look at this in more detail once we zoom in. Keep this in mind. a flywheel effect. Now, let's look at this even further. Why is a flywheel effect so important? It's because it creates something called the herd behavior. What is a herd mentality? A herd mentality is when, for example, a price is declining. Nobody knows what's happening. Everybody's panicking. And now everyone else just starts selling. It's a herd mentality. Okay? So there's that positive feedback. Whatever starts, whatever triggers it, everybody else just starts going and doing the same thing. That's the same thing with the flywheel. It can be positive or negative. And we looked at, for example, the negative part of a flywheel. If you look at curve, for example, a negative flywheel effect is if your staking platform is just too inflationary, so it just keeps dropping. Now it's so inflationary, you can't control it. Or the current fiat system, we are at 36 trillion in debt right now, and it keeps rising, the US dollar is, and it will not stop. It will hit 40, 50, it will keep going. And that's the negative flywheel effect. So it can go either way, either for the good or for the bad. Keep that in mind. And with that in mind, it happens also, like we said, for the good and the bad. So with that in mind, let's look at our two community tokens that we just developed. As far as tokenomics are concerned, this is very important. Keep in mind our 4 challenges that we are addressing. So if we start with Killer Whale, for example, its tokenomics are the same. It has a limited supply of 44 billion. It has 100% of its token. So this is good. It has a limited supply. You can't print more of it. And it has 100% of the total supply is in the liquidity pool already. Remember the other tokenomics, how they were distributed? Some had, like Solana had 97% goes towards the team, the devs, the validators, the early investors. These tokens, 100% goes into the liquidity. It doesn't go to pre-sale, it doesn't go to the team, it doesn't, nothing like that. This allows a fair launch. This allows the community to be 100% community driven. It's very decentralized and transparent. And as far as security, the contracts are renounced, meaning nobody can tamper with them, nobody can adjust or change anything. The liquidity is locked for 100 years, and it's deflationary because it has a 1% tax that goes towards banning the tokens. Survivor tokens. And back to the Killer Whale. Killer Whale is completely dedicated to the whales in the industry. So it's a unique token with the narrative that it's the only token that is dedicated to the whales in the crypto space on the Ethereum blockchain. It's an original token with an original narrative, and there is nothing like it on the Ethereum blockchain right now. It's completely dedicated to that. And it has strong deflationary tokenomics that with every trade, it accumulates. It doesn't just burn tokens, but it also accumulates liquidity over time. Now, another great narrative we have here is our Survivor token. This token is dedicated to the women, the queens in this space. And it's a very unique token because there's nothing like it either. Within our ecosystem, the reason why we developed these 2 tokens is because we want to give the community an opportunity, first of all, to be early in these tokens while they still have a low market cap. And most importantly, there's so many rug pull scams out there, and we want to shield and protect our community members by developing our own in-house community tokens. This Survivor token is dedicated to the women in this space that are underrepresented in the community, in the crypto industry. And it's also, its narrative, it's unique. There is no other token dedicated to the women on the Ethereum blockchain. It has a unique narrative, and it has a very original mission and purpose. Its tokenomics are just as solid like we looked at earlier. It also has 100% of the tokens in the liquidity pool. It has a 1% burn rate. Liquidity is also locked for 100 years, and the contract has been renounced as well. If we look at the DEX tool here, you can see how the liquidity has been locked for 100 years. You can see how the contract has been renounced here as well. And you see how it's been developing healthy as well. And if we look at Etherscan, this is very important. The largest wallet that you see here, just under the liquidity pool, is the Ban wallet. It's closing in on 6% right now. Let me refresh. It's closing in, it's 5.9%. It's closing in on 6% right now. So it's a very deflationary token, just like the killer whale itself. 100% of tokens are in the liquidity pool. 6% of the supply right now is locked away, never to see circulation again, making it deflationary. So it's solving the deflationary aspect. And it's building a healthy liquidity all at the same time with every trade. The contracts are renounced, the liquidity pool is locked for 100 years, and it's completely geared towards the community. It's community driven. So it's community centered. This is why we develop these tokens within our own community in order to amplify decentralization. This is what true decentralization looks like. And we give our community the opportunity to be early on in these projects that are low capped and already have a strong and vibrant ecosystem and community behind them. Now, if we look at Bullrun itself, its tokenomics are also different because it has a staking platform. So its tokenomics are completely different here. And it has a 6% buy and sell tax. Now, keep in mind, we are solving the challenges, the 4 challenges we just saw, which is inflation and illiquidity. So with Survivor and with Killer Whale, you saw how it does the opposite. It's deflationary because all of the tokens are in the liquidity pool. So it solves the inflation issue and the deflationary issue, and also it accumulates liquidity. So if we look at Bullrun, it has some extras. It has higher taxes, 6% on the buy and the sell side. However, what it does also, it directly accumulates liquidity as well. We saw how Bitcoin is lacking liquidity. It's extremely illiquid. And this is why these ETFs have intercepted the liquidity that it's already suffering from. And now it's intercepted. And it's BlackRock and other issuers, ETF issuers, that are now benefiting from the liquidity that would actually come directly to the liquidity pool of Bitcoin. To avoid and address that, with all our 3 tokens, we are accumulating our own liquidity so that we won't be intercepted by anyone, and that will jeopardize and take away the liquidity. At the same time, we are banning tokens as well. And not just to the dead wallet and out of the circulating supply, but actually we are removing them from the total supply. We started with 1 million tokens, now we are down to 972,000. So we've banned more than 27,000 from the total supply. It started, like I said, with 1 million, as you see here, it was 1 million, and now it keeps decreasing. So unlike any other tokenomics that we saw today, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, whether it was Curve or Solana, they're all increasing right now. They're all increasing. There's more of them. But with our tokens, there is less of them because we started with 100% of the supply in the liquidity pool with Killer Whale and Survivor. And with Bullrun, we are decreasing the total supply also. So we are addressing the inflationary challenge right now and the liquidity challenge as well. So this is important. The tokenomics dictate the sustainability of the ecosystem of all these specific tokens. So keep in mind, We addressed liquidity challenges and the inflationary challenges. Now let's look at Curve's challenge, which was unsustainable staking platform. Our staking platform, you receive USDC distributions. So 1% goes towards USDC accumulation. This is the smart contract. Right now, there is 700, a little bit over 700 USDC in the staking pool because there's low volume right now. However, if you would be using your volume effectively, and we'll do some math just in a bit, we will be accumulating so much more USDC, and this will be a win-win for everyone. This is now something else. If you look at the tokenomics of Curve, who is benefiting from this? It was the early investors. As the price was up, they already took their profits, they sold everything, they're out. Those who came in late and are still holding the bags, they're the ones suffering. So the holders are suffering, and the traders are not being given the deep liquidity they need because the volume is not being used effectively, and the tokenomics are not retaining liquidity for the traders. So both the traders and the holders are suffering based on these tokenomics. Let's not pick on Curve alone. We can go to same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a very high volume, but it's not using it efficiently. If Bitcoin right now with its volume would be accumulating liquidity, it wouldn't be suffering from liquidity crisis. And I always like to illustrate this. We have a 3% liquidity tax, right? So if we had, let's lose Bitcoin. If Bitcoin would be using our tokenomics right now and retaining 3% liquidity from its volume right now of 19 billion, that would be 570 million right now in one day that it would be retaining in the liquidity pool. If we go here, right now it's 860 million. So within 2 days, if we would multiply this times 2, it will be over $1 billion in market cap. So within 2 days, there will be more liquidity than it is right now if they would be efficiently using their volume. And this is what we're trying to highlight here. And to make this even stand out even more, what if we multiply by 15 to make it a whole month? So if you would, with this current volume of Bitcoin, if they would maintain this 13 billion in volume, within 1 month, they would be having over 17 billion in the liquidity pool right now. Bitcoin barely has $1 billion in the liquidity pool. Within a month, if they would be using their volume effectively based on our tokenomics, this is why how important is tokenomics? This is what we are highlighting right now. This is what we're highlighting. And this is the only challenge that Bitcoin has. It has a horrible liquidity to market cap ratio, and it's not retaining liquidity for its traders. That's the issue. If that was the case, then ETFs won't have the liquidity they're having right now. They're the ones getting the billions in liquidity back and forth, and keep accumulating Bitcoin over the counter. But if Bitcoin would be accumulating its own liquidity within 1 month, it would be sitting on over 17 billion worth of liquidity, and nobody would care about those ETFs. They would be trading directly right here on the blockchain, and Bitcoin will be having solid liquidity and would be in a much better situation than it is right now, being taken over basically by Wall Street because of lack of liquidity. So this is what we are addressing here. Now, if we go to the staking platform and look at how much staking distributions it would be getting, let's do the same thing for staking. If this is to incentivize, if we look at Curve, let's go to Curve and look at how Curve, the volume of Curve. We are addressing challenges here. Keep that in mind. So Curve right now, is very inflationary. It has an unstable staking platform. Its staking platform is too inflationary and it's not sustainable. It's based on the tokenomics of just issuing more and more curve tokens. In blue, this is 62%, go towards stakers. And it's not using its volume to generate a stable coin like we are, and issuing out a stable coin, so it's not inflationary like this. This is not sustainable at all. So if we would, let's do the math here as well. If we would have this same volume like Curve right now, let's call it 60 million, just to be just to round it up. Let's say we have 60 million, and we want to see how much. With the 60 million volume, we would be looking at 600,000 that will be going into this smart contract in USDC. So we would be issuing 600,000 worth of staking distributions that would go towards the staking platform in USDC, not in native tokens. And this is powered by the volume, like we just saw. Why are we stressing on the volume? Because volume makes it sustainable and also scalable. So if you have such high volume, your chart shouldn't be looking like this if your tokenomics are efficient. If you have strong and healthy tokenomics, your ecosystem, your token will also look healthy. And these are the challenges that we are facing in the market right now. And we want to highlight these by just showing these examples, and to just highlight that we are adding value into this space. We are bringing more value into this space by ensuring that we are addressing Nana, it's made some live stream. Excuse me, my son just called. So it's important to understand that we use the staking platform efficiently. And with the 62 million in volume, it's impossible to have a chart that looks like this if you have strong tokenomics. This is why tokenomics are very important, because you will incentivize those who are staking with 600,000 worth of USDC distributions, as we calculated here. This is very important, and your chart won't look like that. Now, who is benefiting from all of this? The traders are benefiting because everybody's benefiting. The traders are benefiting because the more trades are coming in and out, the more volume is coming in, the more liquidity we are accumulating, right? So the deeper the liquidity, the more traders are coming in, because traders love deep liquidity. So that's the flywheel effect that we were talking about. Remember the flywheel that we described, how flywheel effect works. The flywheel effect, keep that in mind. So this is what we're generating here. The more traders are coming in, the deeper the liquidity. The deeper the liquidity, the more volume we're getting, because the more traders are coming in. At the same time, the more traders are coming in, the deeper the liquidity, the more volume, the more burns are happening. The scarcer the tokens become, right? The more we burn, whether on Survivor or on Killer Whale, same thing. We are burning tokens, they become scarcer, and more liquidity is being accumulated all at the same time. And at the same time, USDC is also being accumulated on the smart contract here as well. So this is what's happening. We are addressing those 4 challenges based on the 4 ecosystem tokens that we saw that have completely different tokenomics. Yes, they have great strengths, but they also have challenges. And to advance in this crypto space, you have to be able to solve the challenges. You have to first of all identify those challenges. And once you identify those challenges, you can now be able to implement those tokenomics into your ecosystem and then address them. And this is what Bullrun ecosystem did. This is what this is about. You want everybody to win. Holders also benefit because they can stake the tokens and keep on receiving USDC distributions based on the traders that always keep trading in and out. So it's a win-win for the trader. It's a win-win for the holder and the staker. And because both of them are winning, it's in the best interest of the community. Because now we turned this ecosystem into a very scarce token. Because with Bullrun, for example, less and less, more and more tokens are being banned and taken from the circulating supply. At the same time, those who keep buying and staking, it keeps this number also to go up. So this staking removes the tokens from the circulating supply, while it also removes them from the total supply. This causes something known as the supply squeeze. And when that happens, it makes the price skyrocket naturally. And this is what we experience with Bitcoin every 4 years. This is each time, every 4 years, we experience the same effect with Bitcoin, because there is this, even if the demand remains the same, but because the inflation is cut in half, there is more demand than supply. And while we have to wait 4 years for this with Bitcoin, with Survivor, with Killer Whale, and with Bullrun, this happens with every trade. With every buy and sell, this happens. To this day, and I need to highlight this, there is no platform out here that is addressing those 4 key challenges. And we didn't look at any community token. We focused on blue chip tokens, the top tokens in the space. So obviously, if the top blue chip tokens are not addressing these issues, obviously community tokens are not doing it. This is what sets our platform apart. We are here with a solution. We identified the issues in the space. We picked 4 different tokenomics based on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Curve. And every one of them has different purposes. And we picked them by design because we have a staking platform like Curve. We have a limited supply like Bitcoin. We have a deflationary mechanism like Ethereum. But the difference is we are using the volume to retain liquidity as well. And we are not as inflationary as them. We are actually completely deflationary. So this is how we are addressing the 4 challenges that we are facing in this industry. And this is what sets our platform apart. This is what we are tackling in this space. And this is why our platform is different. It's more sustainable. It's using the volume efficiently. It's a win-win for the trader and the stakers. We are retaining liquidity, and we are addressing the 4 challenges of these 4 completely different tokenomics of the largest applications or blockchains based on market cap in the industry. And we are still a very small market cap. And the moment people really understand what type of an ecosystem we have and what we are addressing, will really gain a lot of traction, because people look for scarcity. This is why Bitcoin is such in high demand. It has a limited supply, it has low inflation, and the inflation still gets cut. Even that low inflation gets cut in half every 4 years. So you see how people run towards scarcity. But compared to Bitcoin, we're solving the challenge of liquidity. We are deflationary. We are decreasing in supply, not increasing in supply with every single trade. The 4-year event that takes place with Bitcoin, we have that with every single trade on all 3 different tokens. So if you look at an ecosystem, if you look at a token, ask yourselves, what's its tokenomics? It will tell you a lot of things. Look at its distributions. Look at its long term. Is it built for the long term? How are the tokens allocated? Is it more for the community? Is it more for the developers, the teams, the early investors? Look at all that. And the main point is, what is it addressing? What's the end game of the ecosystem? What's the end game of your token? We've just discussed the tokenomics, the fundamentals today. But of course, beyond that, we're also addressing the security issue. This is why we develop our own tokens, community tokens, Killer Whale and Survivor. And we also address the educational part. And this is one of the sessions that we have, weekly events with the community. So we're also addressing the community challenge, the educational challenge as well. As we're educating the crypto space, we are educating the community. And this is very, very important. And then finally, we are building a social network of individuals that understand what challenges we are solving, that have their visions are aligned with ours, and they want to rally behind a platform that is solving challenges, that is unique, that is using this cutting edge technology, using the tokenomics in a right way that solves the problems. Always be part of a solution. Don't be part of the problem. Building all this organically takes time. Of course, there are shortcuts we could take. We could manipulate the volume. We could manipulate other things. But with the regulators, with the SEC watching carefully, scrutinizing everything, those who are legit, those who just build and do the right thing in the long run will the ones remain standing. All the hype that goes up and down within a few days or a week and dies out, we are not like that. We are built for the long term. We are built to solve challenges that are in the space, and we are developing a platform that is secure, that is safe, and in the best interest of the community. You saw that based on the token allocations that we have. And by the way, if we look at Bullrun's, we didn't look at Bullrun's token allocation. Bullrun's token allocation is, if you calculate the 66 plus 19 plus the 10, this is 95% goes towards the community, because it's based on, this is how we allocated the token. 66 goes to the liquidity pool, 19 from airdrops from V1, and 10% goes towards staking and then buybacks. We're staking 10% of BRL tokens, which will give us USDC distributions like we saw, and we'll use the USDC to do buybacks. So to add even more to the liquidity, by the way. And another way to add to liquidity is also through the NFT boosters. These boosters, you can stake them on the platform. We have a dual staking platform that you can boost your USDC distributions by staking up to 5 of these NFTs. And the revenue generated from them also goes to the liquidity pool. So we are heavily focusing on building a healthy liquidity pool, which is a challenge that Bitcoin was facing. We also have a stable and a sustainable staking platform addressing the challenge that Curve is facing. We are very deflationary, and we have a deflationary, actually we are decreasing, our supply keeps decreasing. All 3 tokens, their supplies decrease out of circulation or from the total supply. This is an issue. This is a issue that all of these blue chip tokens are suffering from. All of them. They're very inflationary, and they don't have a banning mechanism. They're not scarce. And this is an issue that we are addressing within our ecosystem. So if you look for a token, always ask yourselves, go and look at the tokenomics like we looked at. You go here and you go to tokenomics, you look at the token distributions, and it will tell you a lot. Token distributions will tell you a lot about the long-term or the short-term vision of this token or ecosystem. And also, based on the tokenomics, you'll notice whether they're deflationary or inflationary, and in the long term, whether the chart will look like this or it will be deflationary and use the volume to its fullest. The question today was, what is tokenomics and why is it important? I hope that this session today gave all the answers to these questions of what is tokenomics and why is it important. So this is the message for today, community. It's very important to understand that you need to be part of the solution. You want to be part of an ecosystem that has not just identified the challenges based on the largest blockchains and one of the most used staking platforms, and is addressing it and has addressed it, but also you want to be able to ask yourself, what's the end game of this token or of this ecosystem, of this platform? And we are built for the long term. We are built coming out of a bear market. And now that we are about to experience a bull run with all these catalysts that are still ahead of us, especially the Bitcoin halving, like we said, this event happens every 4 years. And also what's still ahead of us is the interest cuts that is about to come as well. And also, of course, the election year, end of the year in November, the elections are coming, and usually election years are very, very pro market, pro economy, meaning that the economy usually picks up, especially with the contendants now all being so pro crypto. So this will be a very good year for us, community. And also with Larry Fink wanting now to tokenize everything, and next ETF is now ETH ETF. So we have a lot of catalysts that are still ahead of us. We still have a lot of volume, a lot of liquidity that is we're anticipating that is about to come. 2024 will be the kickoff of the bull run, and we are prepared. We have platforms that are ready to accumulate the liquidity, to be scarce, to retain staking distributions for the stakers. We have the platform that is addressing all the challenges that we experience in this space. We have an end game, and the end game is that it's a win-win for the traders, for the stakers, and for the ecosystem as a whole, as it becomes scarcer and scarcer, as everybody can win in this ecosystem. This is not the norm. If you look at the tokenomics, either based on their distributions, either it's the early investors and the developers that win, and those who don't have a solid tokenomics that is sustainable, and the charts look like that, the only winners are those who got in pre-sale, sold at the top, and everybody left holding their bags is a loser. The beautiful thing about our ecosystem, there are no losers. It's a win-win for everyone. Like we discussed, the traders benefit from the whales staking their tokens and getting the distributions, the USDC distributions. They don't have to worry about whales selling on them, like we experience right here on Bitcoin, where we see how whales have been just destroying the chart and just causing a lot of havoc. We don't have to worry about that. Because USDC distributions, why would they want to sell a large amounts of it? Because it serves as a store of value. It's something that is decreasing over time. It's something that beats the inflation because it's scarce. They become scarcer. Same thing with Survivor. It becomes scarcer and scarcer because it keeps burning 1%, taking it completely from the circulating supply, while building a healthy liquidity. Same thing with Killer Whale. The difference with Bullrun is it actually removes the tokens from the total supply. And it does that because we didn't put 100% of the supply in the liquidity pool. So we added this extra feature that it removes the tokens from the total supply. It's decreasing the amount. So this is what this session was about today, community. I hope it was informational and educational to you. Keep in mind that whoever comes with the solutions will win the race. Keep in mind, this is a $1 trillion market, okay? The entire market sits at 1.5 trillion in market cap. So if you can come up with a solution for over $1 trillion market cap, that means you're solving a $1 trillion problem. And if you can solve $1 trillion problem, that's very good. How about if you can solve $4 trillion problems? The liquidity crisis, inflation, the efficient use of volume, and deflationary staking platform that is sustainable. Those are 4 different issues that we are facing based on these 4 different tokenomics we just looked at today. So keep that in mind, community. Education is king. Stay positive. Understand that we have something unique in this space. It's not a copy-paste of anything else. We are the original. There's only one survivor token that is dedicated to the women, to the queens in this space. There is no other like this. It has a strong narrative and it has a low market cap. It has a strong community behind it, and it's one of its kind. It's the original. Same with our killer whale. There's only one of it, a whale dedicated token that is here for the whales, and our killer whales belong on the top. So we have amazing community tokens that we have built, developed within our own ecosystem for our own community to really have the first dip. Then we have the main Bullrun token, of course, that has a dual staking platform where you can stake BRL and NFTs, and also that is actually scarce in supply with every trade. The supply keeps decreasing. It sustains and retains liquidity, and it also retains USDC for you, for those who decide to stake. It incentivizes those who are staking so that they don't have to sell off their tokens and bring fear to the traders. The traders will be happy because they don't have to worry about being dumped on, and also the stakers are happy because they have the traders generating the volume for them, and it's a win-win. So it's a flywheel effect. Everything works in harmony, and to develop something like this, it took a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of efforts, and we built something that has a proven track record, that came out of a bear market successfully, that has a very strong liquidity to market cap ratio, and that is built to succeed, and that is built to bring results, and that is fired by the volume. So community, this is it for today. I'm looking forward to read the comments, see if you have any feedbacks, if you have any other topics that you want us to discuss. Let me come here and share my screen, single screen now, and get to your comments. These sessions, like I said, they serve for us to be educated. They serve for us to really be aware of what we have. We have something very unique, something beautiful, and we have something that solves the challenges in this space, and this makes us one of a kind. There is nothing else out there that is actually solving challenges like us. And this is what people will be wanting. Newcomers will want to have a home where they can come, and there's a vibrant community that has 3 weekly events that are hosting, that are very vibrant, active, engaged. Who doesn't want to be part of this? And also, as we are doing all this, we have opportunity to be part of our own community tokens and to participate in them. On top of all this, we have strong fundamentals that we just discussed that are addressing the challenges in the space. And while we're doing all this, we are developing and building a social network of individuals. Let me close out with this. Name your favorite social platform. It can be TikTok, it can be Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, pick it. We are freely and voluntarily interacting with those platforms on a daily basis. Depending which one it is, you are posting on there on a daily basis. What you had for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, where you went on vacation, or what you're doing on your break, your favorite items, you're going shopping, everything is being put there and you're interacting with those platforms. Now, who is benefiting for you using the platform? It's the platform itself and the shareholders. They're making billions in revenue through you, and you're voluntarily, freely interacting with it. This blockchain technology gives us an opportunity where if you interact with a platform such as the one we have right now in front of you, you participate, you are actually participating as a whole. So we as a community as a whole are all benefiting by just interacting with this platform, because right now you're not getting any kickback from your favorite platform. Let's say from Twitter. We are all interacting on Twitter, or right now on YouTube. We are all on YouTube right now. We're not getting any kickbacks because we are part or using this platform, right? The benefit we have is that we can communicate, we can educate using this platform, which is great. But the real people who are really benefiting from this are the centralized issuers themselves. So where am I heading with this? We have a platform community, crypto community. We have a platform that is developed to benefit you for interacting on this space. Imagine Instagram or Facebook or Twitter will be just giving you a kickback for participating or using their platform, instead of you having to pay premium to get a blue check, or you have to pay for subscriptions and all that. And this is the power of the blockchain technology. You have the opportunity that we as a community, a global community, we can participate on a platform that is addressing the 4 challenges that the major blockchains and the most used staking application are facing. And the more we're using it, like we saw, it's a win-win. Whether you're a trader, whether you're a holder, it's a win-win for everyone, because the traders benefit from the holders because they don't have to worry about them being dumped on. And the stakers benefit from the traders because they keep generating more and more liquidity, more and more distributions, and especially their tokens become scarcer and scarcer. And this is what everybody wants. You want a scarce commodity because the fiat keeps being inflationary. The fiat keeps losing purchasing power. We need something in this space that is solid, that doesn't lose value over time, that retains it, that uses the volume efficiently to burn more tokens, to be more scarce, to build deeper liquidity, and to incentivize the community. So it's a win-win for everyone. And this is what we developed. This is what we have in front of you. This is how we're going to close today, community. And once more, thank you for all of you that were able to make it today. It's such a pleasure, as always, to have these sessions with you. It gives us the opportunity to showcase and discuss about the cryptocurrency industry, about the markets, and also it gives us the opportunity to build parallels on what added value that we bring as a community, as an ecosystem. It always gives us the platform to educate the crypto space on why or what sets us apart from the others, and what is the added value that we bring into this crypto space. What's the solution we bring to the table based on the challenges we are facing right now in the space. Again, thank you very much for those that made it today. Looking forward to the next community event again with all of you. It was very exciting on my side. Let me check with you now and see whether there's any feedbacks or any questions from your side. Warm greetings to you all. My brother Abdullah, he said, nice to have you here. It's always great to see you around the community, my brother. Queen Mutakwa, good evening, family. Looking forward to another educative session. So nice having you here as well. It's a pleasure. Queen Lati, it's a pleasure having you here and seeing you as well. Good evening, family. Feeling so good to be under the voice of our brother Steve. Sessions always worth waiting. And thank you very much for always showing up. And thank you very much also. I see Queen Sally. Yes. And thank you very much, Queen Sally. PRL to the people, everyone wins. Absolutely. This is the whole idea. Why do we have to have winners and losers? Why do winners have to win at the expense of those who lose? Such a system is not sustainable. We need a sustainable platform in this crypto space. We need a home for those who are new in the space that can find education, find a place where they can share their experiences with those veterans that have been around for the longest, or newcomers alike. A platform that is scarce, that is liquid, that retains, incentivizes the stakers. The traders can feel welcomed as well because they always have healthy and deep liquidity. It's a platform that once it's being utilized, it's the most powerful platform in the crypto space. And we need to understand this because it addresses the challenges of the four most used blockchains and staking application. And it solves it in one place. This is the power of our ecosystem. This is what we have, and we can be very proud of it. And yes, it's a win-win for everyone. I see Queen Kina Rio is here as well. BRL is a safe space within the crypto market. We truly appreciate each other in the project. Absolutely. You're also very much appreciated. Thank you for the feedback. And this is what it's supposed to be. We need that safe space where we can build that social network, whether you're a content creator, an artist, whether you're a community leader, whatever your skills are, your networks, your connections, let's use them for the betterment of all of us, like we said, because we need a platform like this, a community platform like this, where once we really hit those billion-dollar digits in market cap, we'll retain it and we'll sustain it because our platform is developed in a way that it will be able to accommodate and sustain all that volume and liquidity. And it's addressing all the challenges that we're facing right now. And this is beautiful. Brother Glenn here, now going by, use some BRL Bullrun Life and start building the amount to stake. Needless to say, there's nothing to add. Brother Glenn has spoken. Let's get past that 40 cents mark. Let's go. Nothing else to add to that, community. And for those who are not part of the ecosystem yet, these are the links to the website, to the Telegram as well, and here as well to the Survivor website and Telegram as well. So be part of the community if this is something that you want to be part of. This is a movement. It's not just a token, but it's actually a movement that for those who want to have the full package. You have a place where you get education 3 times a week, if not even more, on Zooms and Google Meets. You have a space where the community is active and vibrant and engaging and consistent. You have a space where the fundamentals are and the challenges are being addressed. We have that. We have a stable staking platform. Staking is a big deal, community, because we are using as proof of stake. Ethereum is a proof of stake, uses as proof of stake consensus. So staking plays a major role, and whoever has a sustainable staking platform will be the winner. Last bull run, a lot of staking platforms did extremely well during the bull run, but then they came crashing down because they're inflationary nature. So I'm curious to see how this engine is going to perform, being so deflationary and being able to use the volume so efficiently. Something like this has not gone through a bull run yet. So community, let's engage, let's be proactive, and let's push this through this bull run. And let's make noise, and let's prove to the world that we have a solid ecosystem that is worthy of getting all the attention that it gets. And that's all I have for you today, community. And again, we are on a 90-day challenge. So let's use this opportunity, community, and jump on these tweets. We are about to tweet. So let's put out the first tweet right now and ensure that we interact with this tweet. What we'll be doing is we'll tweet one from each, one from Bullrun, one from Survivor, and then one from Killer Whale, and let's all engage and interact with it. X is a very solid platform where a lot of crypto enthusiasts are active. And the louder we are, the more active we are, the better. Keep in mind, we are bull run. And right now we are in a bull run. So we should be trending. This is why we're really stressing on being engaged. Let's be engaged consistently. We should be trending. Each time bull run is being mentioned on Twitter, our website should be there. Our handles should be there. Our social platforms should be there. And we should be all over the place right now, because this is our season. This is our brand. And Survivor and Killer Whale are under the umbrella of Bullrun. So if they know about Bullrun, obviously they'll know about Survivor as well. And as you see here, these are our other ecosystem tokens right on our website. So once they hear about this, they'll hear about our other community tokens as well. This is the game plan. This is the end game, community. Let's push this. Let's interact with these tweets. Let's do what we always do. We've been doing for the last 9 days. Let's keep pushing, and let's reach to the milestones that we want to achieve. Once more, thank you for everyone, again, that participated today. You are all very much appreciated, and looking forward to hit these tweets now on all our 3 community tokens. And latest, let's meet again on our next community event, which will be on Saturday. If you have any follow-up questions for those that will be listening, again, bring them on Saturday. It's a great platform to interact, to have a dialogue. Feel free to bring questions and so on and so forth. With that said, I want to wish all of you a wonderful rest of your evening, your day. And I see my brother Theo here. Phenomenal session, my great brother. Thank you. So thank you very much, everyone, community. I appreciate all of you, and you're all very much appreciated. And as you saw, we have an updated website here for all of you that haven't visited the website. Take your time and read through it. For those that are new, take your time and go through it. It really elaborates, explains, talks about all our 3 tokens, about our mission statements, about our deflationary mechanisms, about what it takes to be a liquidity king. It talks about education, the sessions that we have on Twitter, Telegram, on YouTube, about the security. What does it mean that we have? We'll be creating our own community tokens as well, about the social network. So it's a really updated website that you can go through and get the most information about it. Once you go through it, you have a better idea, better understanding of what our ecosystem is all about. And same thing on our Survivor token as well. Of course, also our news facelift. It's beautifully done. It's the only token that is dedicated to the women. It has a great narrative, a great community behind it. Everybody can stand behind this and push it. We all, especially not just the women, but us men as well. We wouldn't be here without a woman. We are here through a woman. So this is a movement. This is a great narrative. This is something we can all back and stand behind. And beside all that, as far as security, the contract is renounced, like we already talked about it. That there are no team tokens, pre-sales, nothing to worry about that we see here. Something else I want to show you, by the way. I wanted to show you something here. If you bear with me. Based on the allocations, you see here, Ethereum Foundation, we looked at their allocation, right? Just as a reminder, just want to make a point here. We go back to tokenomics. You see how the foundation gave itself close to 17%, 16.7%. And this is because they've been selling consistently, adding sell pressure to the price of Ethereum. And it's not the first time. Of course, they've been doing this consistently. Back in October, they did it already. They swapped 2.7 million. on Uniswap, this is to upkeep. Okay, these tokens that cover the cost of creating, they cover the costs of maintaining the blockchain or creating, but nonetheless, it creates a sell-off for the event. And this is only possible because based on your distributions, like we discussed. And all these tokens that we have, this is not possible because 100% of the token supply is in the liquidity pool. There are no allocated pre-sales or whitelist tokens or team tokens. Everything was put right into the liquidity pool. So these are the details that you should look at. And you don't have to worry about the team just start selling on you and causing sell pressure for the community. There is nothing like that. As a matter of fact, we used our own funds to develop all 3 tokens. There was no fundraising or any of that. So these are the things you should look at. Like I say, this is why the topic today was tokenomics. Look at certain things. These are the things you should really focus on if you're looking at tokens and pay attention to. With that said, community, I want to wish everybody a wonderful rest of the day. And thank you very much for showing up. It was fun having this session with you today. And I hope your questions were answered as far as what are tokenomics and why is it important. With that said, I want to wish everybody a wonderful rest of their day, and looking forward to hear from you or see you again latest on Saturday when we have our VC voice call on Telegram. Thank you very much, my brother Franklin. Thank you too. Always nice seeing you around in the community. You are all very much appreciated. I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. See you on the weekend. Looking forward to it. Bye-bye, everyone, and have a great evening.